Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody of the Beer Ladies podcast land. I suppose, are we a land? Are we allowed to say that yet? Not sure. Thank you so much for joining us. We are, all four of us are in the studio today, so-called, because, we record on Zoom. We're so-called in the studio, and we've got, festive backgrounds for those who are not watching on YouTube. We've got festive backgrounds going because we do have a Christmas-themed episode for you today, and we're very excited to share a few thoughts about Christmas this year. So I'm joined as usual by Lisa, Katie, Christina, and I'm sure they'll all give us a little wave or something there. Grand, but we'll hear all of their voices in a bit. And before we get to what everybody's drinking, Yuletide and all, we're going to just remind you all to keep sharing, liking, and following us on all the socials. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Mastodon, we're on Instagram, and we're playing around with more because why the hell not? But if you don't really know how to find us on any of those, head to our newly updated, yay, website, which was a little bit of a long time coming. It's beerladiespodcast.com, and all of the links are there, including our socials, shops, support links, everything you want. It's all there. So beerladiespodcast.com, easy peasy. Right, let's get to what you're drinking, and then we can talk about what are we talking about today, because it's very exciting. So let's go to Christina. What have you got today?
So this is my part of my Christmas stash. I got this when I was in Bruges in April last year, and I've been saving it. So it is Oud Creek VL. Gosh, I'm sorry, friends. My French is atrocious. But yes, anything with that cherries is my jam. So I am here for this, and I am so excited.
That sounds awesome. Lisa, what have you got?
I have Hope's new seasonal brew, their Dublin Porter, and it is making me extremely happy. I picked up my first one last week, I think the day it came out, and I liked it so much I went back and I got several more. It's essentially a hoppy porter. On the back, it has a lovely little illustration. It says great with roaring fire or shellfish, but it is a really, really nice, not a super strong porter at all. We're not talking like some kind of imperial for Christmas kind of thing. It's just really, really nice, has a little bit of a hoppy kick to it. And there's an interesting part on the back of the can that says perhaps they will do a part 2 in the new year. So I will say, Richie and co at Hope, I am very much looking forward to part 2. You have piqued my interest, but in the meantime, again, Hope's winter seasonal may be my current favorite thing going, at least for this week. We'll see what happens next week, but adoring this.
Love it. Love to see it. Katie, what you drinking?
I am drinking from Bull House Brew Co. Small Axe, and it is a DDH pale. I know you love that phrase, Andy. And brewed and canned in Belfast. So there you go. It's a 4.3%.
Cool.
And a lovely tasty IPA. Maybe not as festive as your other beers there, but going down a treat.
Well, I'll tell you, we'll go from slightly less festive to not particularly festive at all, because I'm just drinking what I've got. And today I have got Irmgard from Schneeöle, who we interviewed earlier in the season on the pod. So it's a Berliner Weiss, and this one has got ginger in it. So maybe it is a little festive after all.
Yeah, that is definitely festive.
Here we go. So 3.5%. I can smell the ginger. I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm looking very forward to it. Okay, so today we are talking about our Christmas wish lists, but we're doing it in a kind of special way. There is a Irish program that happens every year, and Katie's going to tell us a little bit about it, and it's called the Toy Show. It's not even called that in full. Katie, take over. Tell us all about the Toy Show.
So you can see myself and Lisa are wearing merch if you're watching. I have the best Friday of the year, the Late Late Toy Show.
And I
And Lisa
have the
has-
toy show squad. You can almost see it. That I have a matchy one with my daughter. She has I'm staying up late for the late toy show. So it's more complimentary than matchy, but very excited. We're going to have our matching PJs on the night. But yeah, Katie, you fill in the details.
And I know a lot of well, the rest of you guys are transplants to this island, but I grew up watching the Late Toy Show. So the Late Show was a current affairs program that's been on for, God, it feels like forever, longer than I've been around. And since 1975, there's been a segment on that show where there's been a toy show. And what they did was they started to play with toys and show you how they worked. And then as it progressed, they would get like their reviewers in, like child reviewers in. And I was always really jealous of the Billy Barry kids because they got to perform on the show. You have lots of performances, there's choirs, there's everything on it. And they have celebrities that come on and will surprise children. And it really is an institution. And if you haven't seen it, it's more than just a show about toys at this stage. It really is an institution. And you go from laughing to crying because some of the stories are so touching. And I love it. It really is the start of Christmas for me. And last weekend we started cleaning the house so that we could have the Christmas tree up for the toy show, which is tonight.
By the time you're listening. Yes.
Yeah, by the time you're listening, my Christmas tree will probably already be up. And if you're not from Ireland, you will probably see it trending on Twitter, or at least Irish Twitter. I don't know what will it be? Toy Show 2023 hashtag?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question.
Can we get it trending on Mastodon is the question.
I think we can. I think there's a strong Irish contingent. It's gonna be up there. Absolutely. Yeah. My daughter's desperate to be on it. She's sent in audition videos the past 2 years, but I'm like, you know what? It'll happen when the time is right. So
oh my God. If you knew somebody who was on the toy show, they were royalty. They were like, oh my God, you know Caroline from 5 towns over. She was on the toy show once.
Yeah, and it's a real thing now. The little girl who's starring in the Matilda film, she was on the toy show singing, 3 or 4 years ago as a wee little one, and now she's starring in a film in which she is the title character. So it is a star-making vehicle for some kids.
Yeah, so we were having a chat and we decided that why don't we do our own toy show? Maybe not stuff that would appear in the main show, but beer related toy show. And of course, the very first thing on top of everybody's list is Beer Ladies merch, of course. So our to reiterate what Tandy was saying about our website, beerladiespodcast.com, go on it. It's all updated with all of our links to Twitter, but also to our web shop. And if you order now, you should have it by Christmas, I reckon. It's
Ideal gift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
there are t-shirts, there are hoodies.
Yeah. We were even throwing around the idea of doing a little bit of a Christmas line. So, maybe by the time this episode is out, there'll be a little Christmas line of merch for you. So that might be quite fun. And yes, absolutely. So we definitely want merch at the top of the list because it just makes sense. And so this list is, the way that the toy show works is that they're, showing toys the way that I've always imagined it anyway. And I have watched the show a number of times and it is amazing. Every year it's just incredible. And to an extent, I feel like you have to be here to really appreciate it. But I think you can watch it, as a complete foreigner. But it always struck me that it felt like a wish list. It felt like they're telling you about the cool toys so that you can do your shopping for Christmas, so that your kids are really happy with their lot, which is awesome. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're putting out our wish lists out there, and who knows, maybe some elves will make them come true.
And yeah, you might think it's awesome, but if you are a parent who has done all their shopping before the toy show, you were like, children, you can't change your mind anymore.
Katie, not everybody's as organized as you, I promise.
And you'll even hear about things later, a year, 2 years later. We saw that on the toy show. Why don't I have it? It's like, well, Santa runs out,
Yeah. My child now feels that he's far too old for the toy show, of course.
He'll come
which
around.
just means he'll come
My-
around. Which
my
just
children
means
went
I'll
through
be
that
watching it.
My children went through that phase where they were too old for the toy show, and now they're 16 and 21, and they watch it so that they can figure out what are going to be like the trending memes and things like that.
Oh, that is smart.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they love it
It's a
now.
different angle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and plus, as a
cool.
grown-up or older person, you can have a couple drinks with the toy show. I think that's tradition as well. So I think that'll the older family bonding that counts.
Yeah, and like Ryan has been known to let off the old F-bomb, especially if someone shakes his club orange, right?
That's right. Yeah, folks from overseas, you've got to at least find some clips online, and yes, tune into whatever your social media platform of choice is on the night.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, well then let's get into it. Let's start. I mean, Lisa, do you want to give us something on your list? And I mean, bear in mind, this could be things that you think other people might enjoy, or it could be something that you would sneakily like, but share with us something on your list.
Okay, I'm going to start with one of these things that I almost would never buy myself, but I always want. So I think it's one of those perfect things that's kind of, a gift. I'm going to try to share my screen. We'll see if it works, the page, and I'll minimize all of our lovely faces. But, and I'll describe it, of course, too, for those just listening in. But I love the amount of sort of really interesting craft beer themed jewelry that people are making now. And I'm going to highlight just a couple of people at the moment, but I'll start with brewery jewelry because they are in the UK. So for us, not so far away. And the other reason I wanted to start with them is if I go to Pieces Made, the first thing they show is this little sort of pendant, and it's a Galway Bay themed pendant. So that's actually kind of fun that they're essentially taking, bits and pieces of cans, beer mats, whatever else. And then they're really, crafting these interesting one-off pieces, whether it's kind of a pendant like this, or here's another one where they're calling it a small fob. And I'll try to describe it for those listening. It's kind of a little sort of silver square. This one's from Canopy Beer Company. And again, it's one of those, if you know, you wouldn't necessarily know what it is. It's just kind of an interesting either sort of necklace or, sort of other piece of jewelry for people who aren't in the know. But if you know what some of these logos look like or what some of this can art looks like, and again, a lot of these are sort of UK ones, although again, we did start off with Galway Bay, but here's a Cloudwater Collective Arts one. So for folks in Canada too, there's some collective arts, but I just love this kind of thing where it's taking elements of the existing art and it's putting them in something that's either kind of wearable or collectible. And again, I feel like I wouldn't buy it for myself, but I think it would be a really, really cool gift to get things like this. It could be earrings, it could be necklaces. There's all sorts of cool things like this. This one is showing anarchy. Again, it's a little kind of fob. Some of these are just super, super cool, but I know we've got people all over, so I'm just going to show just something from Etsy as well. And again, this is from seller Bad Fortune Teller, if anyone is looking. And it's just a cool enamel pin. And I am a sucker for an enamel pin. And this one's just a hop. It's just really, really adorable. Trying to get it to zoom in a little bit. And you can see there, yeah, just what the back of it looks like too. So you can see the sort of the fittings. And again, I am a sucker for sort of enamel pins. And this is just one example, but there are some really, really cool things out there on the internet where they're either sort of hop themed or specific brewery themed. And I just think it's really, really cool that people are getting creative and, just making sure that people can, find a unique gift. So again, hopefully that sharing worked. If not, we'll edit stuff out, but we will certainly put links in the show notes. And again, those are just a couple of examples, but there are people making really cool stuff, maybe at your local craft fair, or if you have like an urban craft uprising, there's a lot of people partnering with local breweries to make just cool, unique stuff. So love that kind of thing, here for it.
Brilliant. I love that. And yeah, for those who are not watching, we are going to try share our screens, but as Lisa said, we're going to put all the links into the show notes anyway, and we'll even just create a page on the website that'll have the full list of things so that you can get your ideas from there for the beer loving women and men in your life. Fabulous. Christina, what's first on your list there?
Well, first on my list is I'm going to talk about something that I own, that I love, and I highly recommend it. So this is the Urban City Carbonated Bubble Charcoal Clay Beer Mask. Here you can see it.
Looks beautiful.
It is.
Oh, that jar looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a beer
It's like
can.
a beer can.
It's a
Yeah.
beer can. They have all different kinds. There's like a 24 karat gold one. There's a peptide overnight mask. They do all different like beer. This it has beer extracts and charcoal and a bunch of other things in it. It's made in Korea. I got it in a Korean beauty box and I've been obsessed with it ever since. If you see it's this charcoal, like gray. But I have some on the back of my hand so you can see it because it foams up, like it bubbles up like this. It's a bubbling mask. And I just disappeared there. So you can kind of see here. And then you rinse it off or whatever, or wipe it off. And it just leaves your skin like really soft and smooth. And you kind of have to rinse it off properly. It didn't come. Yeah, you rinse it off. And it leaves your skin like really, really soft and smooth. I highly recommend this. It's a great gift for all of the beer loving people in your life. And yeah, I just cannot recommend this enough. I really, really like it. I would definitely try the other masks that they have. And you can find this online. You can get it shipped from Korea, but there's also like websites in the EU that have like lots of Korean beauty products, and you can find this. But yeah, it's a Urban City carbonated bubble charcoal clay beer mask, and I love this.
That's super
Wow.
cool. So beer ingredient skincare. I like that idea. Katie, give us a Christmas wish list.
My Christmas wish. Will I try and share my screen?
I can see it. Yes. Oh my gosh.
I just think these are
That's
the
adorable.
cutest little things ever.
cute.
And if you're not watching, it is basically little puffer jackets with zips, but they're for your beer cans. So they're like beer cozies that you get. Now, the
That's
only thing
adorable.
is, I found these so the website is uncommongoods.com and they ship from the US. So yeah, we'll be hit by loads of tax if we try to order these. But I would love to see local breweries adapting something like this with their own logo on it. I can't see it being all that expensive, and they look so cute.
They are very cute. I wonder how you hold them. Do you hold them by the arms, or do you have to hold the can? So for those not watching, it literally looks like a jacket, a puffer coat on a can, but it's got little arms which look like handles. It's like spouts, well, handles on a teapot. It's very cute.
Isn't it? I saw these and I just love it. This website also has like little sleeping bags that you can put your bottle of beer into, so it's obviously taller.
That's adorable. Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Love it.
So, and actually, this whole website has so many cool things. Uncommon Goods, they are uncommon because you don't see them everywhere, and I love them, but I hate paying the duty.
Yeah, we used to get stuff
Yeah.
from when we lived in the States. They have some really cool, actually, I want to say there's really cool like tumblers and whiskey related things as well. So for the other drinks lovers in your lives.
Love it. All right, my turn. Let me share a screen here. Okay, so I'm a big fan. I'm a big sucker for personalized gifts. So, it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be something super unique, but I like when things are personalized. And I found a good few things on Etsy where, beer openers, beer glasses, things like that you could put someone's name on or whatnot. But the one that I'm starting with is this personalized beer journal, because I think it's really cool. I'm going to show just a couple of pictures, but for those not watching, it's a leather-bound journal where you can get your name. I don't suppose it's engraved, but put onto the cover of it. And this one is actually specifically for brewing. So it allows you to capture your different, your brew day. So the recipe that you've made, your different gravity readings along the way, all of your, tasting notes for after you've brewed. And a lot of these things, when they're, personalized beer or anything, I find that they don't seem to be made or designed by people who really know beer or brewing. This one does seem to be. And it's not just a way of capturing physical notes, because I think a lot of people do that using their different software. But what I like about it is that it's got handy references inside as well for things like which hops tend to go with which styles, your different beer colors, so that you've got a reference of that, different glassware. So it's got quite a lot of non-standard content in there, or at least content that you don't have to contribute. And I think that's really cool. And this particular listing, you can personalize it or just get a generic one. Obviously, the generic one is a bit cheaper, but you can also add a beer glass, which you can also personalize, which I think is awesome. So, imagine getting a personalized beer journal, brewing journal with your personalized glass. I just think that's lovely.
Mm.
And Etsy is just such a great resource. You just do the filter, delivers to your address. You go. And if you want it local, you can limit it to shops in Europe or in the whatever your region is, so that it might not take as long to get there. Things like that. I think it's really, really good resource.
Definitely.
Now, I will say that there's one thing I don't like about the research for this program, and let me know what you think, ladies, but oh my God, the amount of stuff that was like, oh, the perfect Christmas gift for your dad or your boyfriend or your
Let's
husband.
talk about that. Yeah,
that is pet peeve.
Yeah, and from places that should know better. And I think one thing that has cheered me up is I have seen some of my favorite beer writer men calling this out on Mastodon, Twitter, all the places. So I thought, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. But also, why are people still putting this in their press releases? Why is this a thing? Yes. So appreciate people calling it out. Please keep calling it out. But also just like, I don't want things. I want things. I want to buy things. I want to consume. Come on. I've been not consuming. So
it's really frustrating because like even on Etsy, it's like such and such for men. It's like, what about all the other genders? What about women? What about non-binary people? What about everybody else? Like it just completely ignores the fact that there are all these other people who are non-men who like beer. Like, come on.
Yeah. And it doesn't even, that's the thing. It doesn't even represent the product well, or like the ethos of maybe the company. In some cases it may. And then, then if you know, but for a lot of them, like, did they sign up to this? Did they know this was going to be the campaign? It's just lazy. So
yeah, and also like default size ranges, if they don't include a spectrum of sizes, I don't think that's inclusive in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry.
Size inclusivity for merch is something that I think a lot of it really needs to be considered. Like plus size ranges need to be larger. Like you just need to have more size range, bigger sizes, because all bodies are good bodies, and it's really frustrating to see just a really limited size range, and a lot of times just a men's size range or unisex or that kind of stuff. So that's also something that needs to be worked on.
You're here.
Anyway, rant over. There we go. I had to get it out there though.
No, it's a really good point. And actually, only one last thought on it. I don't know how many people search for beer gifts for men as opposed to just beer gifts.
Yeah.
Why would we even need to limit it that way? It's so silly. You'll have so many more people. Anyway, that's it. So yeah, let's stop doing that, everybody. Christina, you are up next, my friend.
I'm excited. So I have a theme for a while here, friends, and my theme is body products. So the beer spa, which I discovered and I am now obsessed with. They have this lavender triple beer soap. Oh my God, I want this so badly. It's infused with lavender and triple beer that leaves you feeling silky smooth while dreaming of Provence, France. Oh, yes, ma'am. It's $8, which honestly I think is pretty affordable. And such it's beautiful if you are just looking or listening and not looking. It's this cream color with this beautiful dark purple swirls. It's very, very aesthetically pleasing. I can just imagine how good this smells, and just looking at it makes me want to relax. But this company has just so many kind of amazing products that are beer related. Beer body wash. They have gently cleansing blend of beer, goat's milk, and orange essential oil is their body wash. Like everything. They have shampoo, they have conditioner, they have a hair mask, they have stuff for your beard. Herbal beer bath tea. Wow, sign me up. I'm here for this. Which is $9. This is uplifting aromatic blend of hops, malted barley, and herbs that I guess you just chuck into the bath. Anyway, like a gift basket of a few different ones of these things is like, you know, your perfect hashtag self-care Christmas present. It just sounds fantastic. Fantastic. Top of my list.
That
That's
is all.
very,
Yeah,
very cool.
that is very, very cool.
I love anything where I can be like a human tea in the bath. So that, oh my gosh, yes, here for that.
Absolutely. Anything that's like relaxing and chill and smells good is just sign me up. And I just like, you know, how everything is designed really nice. It's very visually appealing. Yeah, just really into it. Very into it.
That's very cool. You know, ordinarily, I'm not the biggest fan of kind of smellies, as you know, as they're all called. They're not really a thing for me, but I really like that idea. I like the beer themed ones. At least they're novel. You know, they're not just something that came from the generic drugstore. So yeah, that kind of works.
Yeah, and I love it as a gift too for someone who maybe can't drink for now, like pregnancy or illness or something like that, but you still would like to support the industry, or, you know, especially if they use like a local brewery. And I think that's just another nice way to, you know, still be involved if for some reason it's not for you at the moment. Just another nice way.
Good point. On that, Lisa, you're up next.
All right, so this is one of my nerdy runner things. It is beer compression leg sleeves. I actually have this particular one. They make a couple of other designs as well. I've gone for the Zensa ones. So if you're just listening, these are the things you put on after running, or it may not be you, it may be someone in your life who's a runner. So definitely just like a great gift though for us weirdo runners. But this one just has essentially just, you know, tankards of lager all over it. It's a fun design. I put these on after long runs, and I will say it really does. You know, it's meant to, you know, aid recovery, which I'm putting in giant air quotes, but I know there are a lot of us out there who are running beer drinkers, and it's just fun to have, you know, kind of a beer themed design. There's lots of other things too. I actually have a couple others that are kind of one-off seasonal ones as well, but I really like the beer ones. I've had these for a couple of years. I think I may need new ones, just putting that out there into the universe. But you know, again, I think these are fun. There are a lot of other things like this that are kind of beer and fitness adjacent for people who are into that kind of thing. But I'm just going to share these particular ones because I've tried them. They are really comfy. And yeah, they're just compression sleeves with glasses of beer all over them. So nothing nothing terribly exciting, but I think they're great. Again, they're one of those things that I almost never buy for myself, so they're just a nice gift. And they really do make you feel better after a long run, so recommend.
That's a good one. And there's lots of crossovers, I think, between different activities in beer.
Definitely.
So it's nice when they cross over in gifts and in products. It's just cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Katie, share your wish list.
My wish list. So my next one is, so I follow Pints and Panel on Twitter. I think we all love her artwork.
We all love Em. Yep.
M
Absolutely
Slaughter
love it.
from Pacific Northwest. Her website, pintsandpanel.com. And she just has the most amazing artwork. She has a book. She has posters. If you are learning for your exams, is it the Cicerone exam? She has flashcards. So here is the shop. And on her shop, it says international orders in by December 1st. But I know her book, Hooray for Craft Beer, is available from bookstores. She recently did a tour during the summer, did a tour in the UK, right? But she has the loveliest posters. And I just love, if you have like a little beer cave, to have the posters up in the wall. I'm just randomly scrolling through.
And enamel pins again, lovely enamel pins.
Were there enamel pins?
Yeah,
she does
she's got
do enamel pins. Yeah, and I just really like her style, I suppose, in a way, and I love that it's a female-led company. Another one that I follow on Twitter, and I don't know really who they are, but I kind of like what they do, is this tab. It's Beer Can Picks.
Oh, I've seen this. Yes. Oh, this is
Yeah.
a hard one to describe, I think, but it's very cool.
So it's a beer can, and the person makes maps out of it and mounts them. And I know that they've done one for Kinnegar. That's how I ended up
Yes,
following
that's yeah, I think that's how I found it as well. They're very cool. Actually,
Yeah.
I love the Australian ones are very cool for those listening. There's, Foster's or Victoria Bitter or but yeah, in the shape of Australia. They're very
Mm.
cool.
They are
Yeah.
very cool. And I believe that well, they say on Twitter, you DM them with what you want and then they'll figure it out for you. So there you go. I hope they're still up and running.
Mm. That's awesome. So another gift of sort of repurposed beer art, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Repurposing all the cans. These artists work really hard on the designs of cans. And it's lovely to see them being used, not just to go into the recycling. So nice
Yeah.
one.
And I think I've seen on, actually, was I pronouncing that wrong? It's not Kinnegar, it's Kinnegar.
You'll be closest to getting it right.
Yeah.
Of all of us.
I don't know, but they had I think it was a lamps they have as well on their
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think they have more, not the main, t-shirts, glasses. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I love them, but it's sometimes it's nice to have something a little bit special.
I agree.
Yeah, good one. All right, I'm going to share my screen while we're on an art theme. I can't remember how I found this one, but I'm pretty sure it was somebody either in the homebrew club or at work who told me about this woman called Sinead Grace, and she's based in Dublin. And what she does is she makes these most beautiful illustrated cards. And the one that I'm showing now on the screen has got a whole lot of Dublin pubs. So really famous pubs, O'Donoghue's, Grogan's, and they're just beautifully illustrated, and they've often got their festive lights. So they're quite Christmassy, which is not just the pub front, which is, there's a lot of that around, but this is kind of Christmas pubs. And you can choose, I think, on the site, whichever pubs you want, and you can choose one of each, or you can pick your top 4 or whatever the case is. But I just think it's lovely. She started out, or she got back into art and illustration during the pandemic, and now has got this little web store where she does all these personalized prints and illustrations. And I just think the pub one is so lovely. And I think, there's a big card culture here in Ireland, but I would almost buy these to frame them, because even if they're small, if you had 5 or 6 or whatever the case is, they'd look really stunning as a little gallery, like a gallery wall. Yeah. So that's my one. I just think they're beautiful. Look at the long hall over there. And yeah, good old famous Irish pubs. Dublin pubs, I think, mostly, but she does commissions too. So her link will be down in the notes. Yeah.
I reckon, yeah. The Legal might be getting in touch for a commission,
Oh, yes. Great thought.
They are beautiful, though. They're really, really nice.
Yeah, no, they are. They're just in a lovely style. Yeah, cool. Love it. Christina, friend.
Okay, so I guess we will continue the art trend. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay, can you see everything?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. So this is more of an art you make yourself. So I'm a cross stitcher. And so I think this is a good gift because it gives you 2 options. So you can either get this and stitch it yourself, or you can buy something like this and give it to the person in your life who loves cross stitching and beer. So the first one I have is it's a cross stitch. If you're not familiar with cross stitch, it's literally you get this fabric that's called Ada, and it has little tiny holes in it, and you make 2 stitches into little X's. So every little square here represents an X of the thread that you cross. And you can follow all these patterns, or you can go rogue and do it yourself. So I've been cross stitching for a lot longer than a decade. I'm not going to age myself too much here, but I've been cross stitching for a while. So I love patterns, but I do design a lot myself. But these kind of things are really great gifts for people who want to pick up a new hobby or do something. So you could buy, for example, the cross stitch pattern, and then the pattern will list what all the kinds of threads that you need and what kind of, ADA, like there's different counts or whatever. And so then you can buy all this thread and the fabric and then give it to your partner, your friend, your mom, your dad, whoever is interested in stitching. And that's a really nice gift. Like I would love something like that. Or you can make it. I'm going to turn off my background here real quick, just so that way you can see this, because yeah, I just think that it's really, really cool. So this is a cross stitch that my mother made. And she sewed this for me, years ago. So it's a beer mug, and it has
that's
all of
lovely.
these different like beer sayings and stuff, like save water, drink beer, got beer, hold my beer, watch this. But yeah, so my mom made this for me because I learned to cross stitch from my mother. And then she had it framed or whatever. And it's one of my favorite gifts. It has a treasured place in my home. So, something like that you can kind of, make for your family, for your loved ones. I think cross stitch or embroidery, any kind of like fabric, textile work it's a nice gift. And
I
you can
just
get
think
lots of these on Etsy.
that one that your mum made is just so cute and adorable, and I'd say you get all the the warm hugs when you look at it, and if you can't be with your loved one at holiday time.
Yeah. I actually should share my screen because I actually have more of these to show you, because like this one, this is I Like Crafts, and it's got all different kinds of beers around it, which I think is really cute.
That's
That's
adorable.
so cute.
And then there's this one is a set of 2, which is really pretty. It's like a mug of beer with some florals. And yeah, it's really pretty. So I really like cross stitch. I'm very much into it. I think it's a really nice gift.
What a great idea.
Love it. That's so cool. And again,
Yeah.
one of these sort of cross hobby collaboration ideas. So if you know a cross stitcher in your life, get them a cool beer pattern. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lisa, have you got another one for us?
I've got a last one, and again, I'm going to have kind of a slight rant with it, but it's not because there's not good stuff out there. It's just that I'm not seeing good stuff out here in Ireland. So that's my minor rant there. So I am just going to there we go. My next one. So it is basically beer chocolates, and I'm going to start with one that I used to get in Pennsylvania from, and again, I'm going to be just as bad with the French pronunciation because my French is hot garbage. Eclat chocolate, which is actually in Westchester, Pennsylvania. But I first came across them because back in the mists of time, when I would go to the local beer ladies, the Westchester beer ladies, out in kind of suburban Philadelphia, we would go to Victory Beer. And I went to a beer and chocolate pairing that was sponsored or sort of supported by this particular chocolate company, Eclat Chocolate, who are nearby. This is a box you can get that has either Victory Hop Devil or Victory Golden Monkey. So that's their hoppy pills, or actually, sorry, that's their hoppy IPA, or their Belgian triple in it. Or you can also get a sort of single malt whiskey chocolate, which could also have Reisdorf Kolsch or a Hitachino Nest Classic Ale, or there's one made with Orval or Westmalle Triple. So these are just gorgeous, gorgeous. Have had them, a number of times before. I will say you can get these all over Pennsylvania. I've not seen them in as many other places, but a lot of the ones in Pennsylvania are made with local beer. They are just absolutely glorious. The closest I could find on this side of the pond was the one from Hotel Chocolat. So I feel like that doesn't quite count. And this one just tells me that it's made with essentially a porter. I think it's probably, a porter style beer. Again, no shade to hotel chocolate, but I like it if it's, actually working with a specific local brewery where you can kind of see, oh, they did this and they went for this particular kind of flavor profile. But again, it's about, what you may or may not be able to get. So I wanted to kind of share both options. So odds are, if you were somewhere in North America, you almost certainly have a small brewery that pairs up with a local chocolatier to make some kind of beautiful beer chocolate. Over here, it's a little harder. We have a lot, and I'm just going to show this one very quickly too. This is from Coco Kinsale. They do stuff with whiskey. So, and when you get them, they come in these beautiful, beautiful packages. So it's absolutely an adorable gift item. And I'm going to show it anyway, even if it's, this is sort of beer adjacent. But they come in this little box that looks like a book, and it's just beautiful. We have one from the last time we went down to Cork. And they do them sort of with whiskey, sort of local whiskeys, that kind of a thing. But I'm just saying there's scope for people in this country to do more of them. So it's a minor rant, but I would love to see a local chocolatier pairing up with an Irish craft brewery to make some lovely chocolate. So with that, I will stop sharing, but I will say beer and chocolate go really well together and can make a really lovely gift. So shop local wherever you are.
But I know Kate O'Driscoll used to make gluten-free
Oh,
beer
hers are
truffles
amazing. That's a good point. Yes. Good call. Yeah.
with local beer, and those are
Oh, amazing. Yes. Anyone who's gone to Ballykilcavan and had some of Kate's amazing sort of platters there. Yes. Beautiful truffles. So shout out to Kate.
Nice one.
More of them. More.
Love it. Speaking of Kate's, Katie.
I'll tell you what, I was doing a lot of research into your home beer dispenser, and I got so frustrated.
Do tell us more.
There's just so many of them. There are so many of them, and you can go from really small to keg size, right? So just say you're having a Christmas party, you want to get some beers in. There's this thing called Physics, Fissiccs, I think. Oh my God. It's for one can, right? It costs over 100 quid. Now it's very readily available all over in Ireland anyway. DID, Harvey Norman, all of your places. And you put your can in, and I was reading through the blurb, and it was like, oh, we use sonic waves to activate your beer to make it like it's come from a tap. And I'm like, I don't really know what the hell is going on there. And is this just trying to take money out of people's pockets? I don't know. You can make someone try it and let me know if the beer tastes good.
Yeah. Is it different
Sounds
from the
like a
gift
gimmick.
one? I'm just so curious. Like, yeah, I'd just love to see what it is. Yeah.
There's no gas with it. Like there's no nitrogen.
Okay.
There's no carbon dioxide. There's no CO2. There's nothing. It's sonic
waves.
Right?
It's just vibes. It's just
sonic vibes. So then I was like, okay, we won't go there. You can get like the mini kegs, right? And then there's such an array of mini kegs. You have your 5-liter mini keg. I did start to put together a whole table. You have a Dream Draft do 5-liter kegs, but Perfect Draft do 6-liter kegs. And then the Blade is 8-liter kegs, and they're all different, and the kegs don't interchange. So all I will say is, if you're buying for a beer lover, make sure that whatever keg you buy matches your dispenser, or a dispenser that they already have, because there's no point saying, oh, they have a beer dispenser, I'll just, get a keg. It has to match. And then because all of the fittings are different as well. There's also iKegger. I know that some breweries use iKegger, where you buy the system and then they fill it for you, apparently.
Okay.
There you go. So yeah, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole with that, and then I got so frustrated because they were all so similar and yet so different and not compatible. We need the EU to come in here like they did with the phone chargers and go, lads, right,
One.
there's going to be one.
Pick one
system. Everything is going to fit everything. And so just be careful.
Yeah, sell your wonky stuff over in the UK. Everyone else that we're going to do one thing. Yes.
Yeah, and the physics thing, I don't know, over 100 quid and one can, and it's sonic waves or whatever. I don't know. I'm just skeptical.
Sonic waves. It's just vibes. Again, I'm here, just vibes.
Selling vibes. That's it. That's what we're selling. That's very funny.
I can share other stuff though. Let's move on from that. And if you have loads of bottle caps,
Yes.
if you're a drinker, you can get maps of all different parts of the world that have little cutouts in them for your beer caps. I think that's quite nice. Now, I will say, don't look at the beer caps on this one, which is on Etsy, because they're not really Irish breweries. Here's a UK and Ireland one. You can get USA, Europe. I think they're kind of cute. You can also get little coasters. And then my last one will be a shower beer holder.
That's great.
You can get them. Yeah, you can find them. You just Google shower beer holder. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on Etsy. If you are partial to a shower beer, or the person you're buying for is partial to a shower beer, I will say I've never been partial to a shower beer, but you know what? If you are, good for you.
And I'll say props to the seller for saying gifts for him and gifts for her and gifts for whatever. So you know what? It's for whoever wants that. You know, it's all
That's
good.
why I specifically picked that link, because
That
it
is a beautiful
for
one.
her on it. And I'm glad
Absolutely.
you picked up on that.
Yes, good for them. Well done.
Yeah.
I quite like a shower beer, actually. So that little, it was like a sticky thing that you put onto the shower that holds your can, because don't take glass into the shower. That's not a good idea.
Yeah,
but to hold
it's,
your can,
yeah, it's
that's
literally,
a great
it's
idea.
cheap as chips. You can get
Yeah.
like you can 3D print the little holder and then stick a suction cup on it. It's like, why
Yeah.
do we not have this everywhere from every brewery selling it as their merch?
There we are. So listen up, breweries. Okay, well, Katie, I think I'm going to leverage your anger and your frustration at the dispensers slightly. So my big takeaway, by the way, is don't bother with those things probably unless you know you are going to be using them. Rather brew your own. So no Christmas list that I'm on would be complete without something to do with homebrewing. Look, the very obvious gift is if somebody in your life is interested in learning how to homebrew, you can get them a homebrew kit, which will have all of the basic stuff. Okay, that's grand. But I'm going to only look a little bit beyond that. So the one that I'm sharing at the moment is, again, quite niche, and it's a little now on the more expensive side. So as we know, brewing can be quite an expensive hobby if you get into the sort of advanced stages of trying to control every process and every ingredient and all the things. But something like this has been on my list for a little while, and it's a wireless hydrometer and thermometer. So what this thing does, it's very cool. It's like a capsule that's got effectively a hydrometer, which measures the gravity and the sugars in your liquid, and you put it into your wort or your beer while it's fermenting, and it tells you via an app or however you connect it when your beer is ready to be bottled or kegged. And so it tells you the temperature that it's sitting at and where it is in terms of its specific gravity. Now, there are loads of different ones. The one I'm showing at the moment is called a Graviator. It's a new one that Ghetto Brewed are stocking, although apparently out of stock right now because clearly high demand. But there are other ones. So the most well-known one is called a Tilt, and a lot of people like to hook that up to a Raspberry Pi so that they can have real-time updates wherever they are, as opposed to only being able to get it via a Bluetooth connection at home. So there are different levels of these kinds of toys. But yes, absolutely. I think for the home brewer in your life, you almost never have enough of one of these things, to be honest, because you brew one beer, it's going to sit in your beer for those 10 to 14 days. And what if you've now brewed a second beer? I've got 2 beers fermenting at the moment, and just got to guess or carry around my heavy bucket and take a hydrometer reading. So that's on my list right over there.
And if you could link that in to your heating system or cooling system, you'd have an APC. There you go, advanced process control.
There we are.
Absolutely.
And I think people do that, although at the same time, you do get really cool things. In fact, while I'm on here, you do get really cool fermenting equipment that has obviously got temperature control and everything in it. Sometimes it's a very fancy keg that has got all the things, but other times you get something like this, which is the Ferminator, which is also on my Christmas list, which is effectively a big polystyrene box that has got a temperature control panel, a fan, and a heating element. Now, what makes this thing really cool is that the polystyrene is great insulation, and beer likes to be consistent, so that's the one thing. But it's different to a, let's call it a smarter fermenter, which is often stainless steel or takes up quite a lot of space. This fits around your brew bucket, so you can put your bucket into this, and it can control the temperature from 0 degrees all the way up to 40 degrees Celsius, which gives you the range of being able to brew or ferment lagers as well as your kveik yeasts, so your really warm yeasts, which is a challenge, especially if we're talking Ireland over winter and energy crisis. It's kind of nice because if we're not turning on the heating all the time, you will struggle to set your temperatures properly. And while it does use power, once it gets to a temperature, it only works when, the power is only really pulling when it needs to update, either heat or cool down the temperatures. So I think it's very cool. And it is expensive. It's on the expensive side, but it's still cheaper than a lot of the other options out there, and a lot more lightweight and portable, which I really value. So
And it's got
Ferminator
a
on the
cool
list.
name.
It's very cool. Yeah, very cool.
Ferminator.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
can buy these extensions that go into it. So if you do have a tall fermenter, you can put it into one. If you have a short fermenter, you can put it into one. You can, it's a choose your own adventure fermenting station, which I think is great. And, brewing stuff often doesn't look that good. This one doesn't look bad. It could hide in the corner of a room and not offend anybody. So yeah, a few little homebrew gadgets.
Yeah, that's great for someone who doesn't have like a little shed or has to do it in the corner of a room. And yeah, definitely. That's really good.
Yeah, people who ferment in apartments, oftentimes struggle with that stuff. And I mean, even people who have sheds, to get the temperature control, you either need old fridges or you need things like, heating elements that can work. And you know what? I quite like the idea of getting a couple of these over time and just having, let's say, 2 or 3 ready for different buckets. And you could condition your beers in there as well. So if you've made a couple of lagers, maybe it's in a keg, maybe it's in bottles, you could stack them in there and it could condition at 2 degrees for 2 months. Set and forget. Done.
Love it.
So that's my big one for for this Christmas. Christina, friend, are you going to give us your next one?
Yeah, I have one more and then I'm done.
Cool.
So this one's a bit silly. Kind of, good stocking stuffer. It's beer lip gloss or lip balm, I should say. And it comes in these like really tiny, cute little beer bottles. They just say beer. There's nothing like to, and then just to show you how it pops out. So it pops out the bottom like that. I just think they're cute. They're definitely, kind of gimmicky or whatever, but like I'm here for it. I think it's adorable. Yeah, so they're made with shea butter, coconut oil, vitamin E, love, sugar, spice, and everything nice. Yeah, so I find these adorable. I like them.
They are so cute.
They're
They are.
little cute little, stocking stuffers. I'm just really here for them. I like them. So yeah, that's on my list.
That's adorable. And I will say, I used to, back in the day, I want to say in the early to mid 2000s, I would go to beer festivals. Breweries would be giving away lip balm that was made with their beer. And I have not seen that now for a good, 15 odd years. But I'm like, where did that go? That was cool. Just maybe that's the next thing we need to manifest. Just saying.
It just seems like we need more merch and not just t-shirts and hoodies and beanies, right? How about pajamas?
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Usable stuff. I don't necessarily for reasons, I have certain art things that I like or what I don't like. So, but I would lip balm or things that I will use, not necessarily just art pieces, although those are really cool too. But, things that have utility would be great.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Lisa, I know you don't have any more on your list. Katie, do you have any more on your list? No?
No,
Cool.
I think we've done enough. I think we're good.
Yeah. Well,
have you more?
You spoke too soon because I'm just going to talk very quickly about some beer books.
Oh yes.
Because I think books are books are always a good gift, I think, especially if people like books. Not everybody does, but there were a couple that have been, I've sort of flagged them on my Amazon or whatever to get them, and I just want to maybe mention them. The one is by Natalia Wilson, so Beer by Nat over in the UK, and it's called Beer, Taste the Evolution in 50 Styles. And I believe that this book is awesome because you really do go into a little bit of the kind of history of how the style developed, but I think what's nice is being able to compare them against each other. So why does a Pilsner taste the way that it does, not just historically, but also because of the ingredients? It's like a compendium. It's just a guide to beers in a lovely way. And Pete Brown's just got a new book out. For anybody that follows Pete Brown, and I love his books, I think his writing is just very accessible, and I really enjoy that. And you do get lots of lovely ones like cookbooks or the Little Lager Book. And I mean, I'm not going to list every single one here, but there are just loads of beer books around, and I think it's nice to support authors, especially at Christmas time. So whether it's cooking with beer or beer pairing or beer and marketing or whatever your interest is, one or two of mine are going to be brewing classic styles or wild farmhouse brews, because why the hell not? Learn from all the best. But I enjoy a book.
Yeah, here, me as well. Those are all those are actually my easier to get ones for people who don't know what to get. I'm like, these are the books. This is easy. At least you can find them. It's it's very accessible for people. And then I'm looking forward to reading them just over the holidays, just curling up with a book and maybe a wee pint and relaxing.
Well, and just to remind our listeners that we have an entire episode about beer books and building a beer library. So we've got lots of recommendations in there, like books by Melissa Cole and amazing authors that we love. So if you want more book recommendations, check that episode out.
Indeed. Well, that's it, friends. That's our late beer toy show. Hope that you've enjoyed the various recommendations that we've got, or at least the wish list items. And what I've enjoyed about the four of us, coming at it from different angles, is we've got a mixture of like really affordable to quite pricey. We've got, a mixture of sort of usable, sort of, disposable kind of one-use things which are just fun and novel versus things that, you invest in, like books. So it seems like we've got a bit of a variety, which is lovely.
Here.
Here. And maybe next year we'll be showcasing a little bit more local stuff, maybe, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Cool.
Yes, we would love that.
Our local breweries. That'd be great.
That'd be great. It would be. And for everybody listening or watching at home, you can go to our website, so beerladiespodcast.com, and you'll find a page with all of these links specifically just on that page, because the show notes of YouTube and podcast players will not allow for all of these links. So that's going to be your best bet in this case. However, we will just share the general what are you drinking and other notes as we normally do. So thank you very much for tuning in. And if you've got some really cool beery ideas that we may have missed off, do send them to us. Send them to us on Twitter, send them to us on Mastodon and on Instagram and on Facebook, or by email. We're at beerladiespodcast@gmail.com, and just come and say hi if not. We appreciate you and thank you for all the sharing and the liking and subscribing and all the things. Have a good one, everybody. See you later.
Happy Toy Show!